Hey, do you know who this guy is?
Nope, I don't have a clue.
Ready? Aim! Fire! Please take your seats. It's a strange thing when old friends become new enemies, when things change drastically and no explanation is given, when something you've loved for decades is taken from you, changed, manipulated, and handed back to you in a deceivingly shiny box, when what you know to be true is retconned for the sake of making it fit with inferiority. Those who have seen and grew up with the original trilogy, you know what I mean. You know how it felt the first time you popped in the special edition DVDs and found yourself puzzled. No, your memory wasn't failing. No, you did not forget. It was changed. Something you did not want, didn't ask for, didn't need, was thrown at you. And you were told, get used to it, because this is the final product. What you know and love no longer matters. From Greedo shooting to the removal of Yub-Nub, from the addition of new Cantina aliens at the expense of old beloved Cantina aliens, to the complete change that was made to the Emperor's face in The Empire Strikes Back. Some changes are small, easily missed. Others are drastic and change the very fabric of a character's being. The fans are not to blame. It's not like we weren't vocal, but our screams and pleas were shunned, ignored, and mocked. We signed petitions in the early days of the internet, we made videos, posted on forums, and professed our collective outrage. But our words fell on deaf ears. It wasn't just a one-time change either. Changes were even made from the first year Star Wars hit the theaters. The films were then changed heavily in 1997, 2004, 2006, and once again in the 2011 Blu-ray release. 3 prequel films were made. They didn't feel right. They didn't look right. To us, they were not Star Wars. Maybe that's why we original trilogy purists are so excited to see the new films. It's a chance at redemption. A chance for that old flame to burn in our chests once again. Just from the small amount that we've seen, and the small amount that we know, it seems like The Force Awakens is taking a turn in the right direction. Star Wars is back. The shot of R2-D2 and C-3PO approaching Jabba's palace was removed and replaced by a new, more expansive long shot. It reveals more of the door, symbolizing the towering power that Jabba has. If you were viewing the original theatrical version before the god-awful CGI Jabba was added inside of the hangar in A New Hope, this scene was very exciting. Because before this, you had no idea what Jabba looked like, what he was, where he lived. You just knew his name. You knew he was running and gunning for Han Solo. The anticipation was huge. You had no idea what to expect. The special editions royally fucked up the surprise. You literally waited for 6 years to know who this Jabba the Hutt guy was. The change to this scene is cool. I like it. But it's hard for me to view this scene and not think about the sad, shitty Jabba wandering in the hangar, ruining the surprise for generations to come. The shot of Ben Kenobi's home has been changed. This change actually adds something. Whether you like it or not, this change gives a grander look at Obi-Wan Kenobi's home. Changes like these that show the magnificent desolation that is Tatooine are actually pretty cool. I really like them. They're expansive and isolating. Femi Taylor, who played the role of Ula, reprised her role 14 years later to shoot a new scene in the Rancor pit. It makes the scene a little longer, but it doesn't add a single thing though. We knew all we needed to know and what was already given to us. But hey, I'm sure it was a cool experience for Femi Taylor to come back and hop into the Star Wars scene again. I'm glad she had the opportunity. But in the grand scheme of things, from the perspective of the overall film, it didn't do a damn thing. Ewoks now blink. I think it's almost unanimously agreed upon that Return of the Jedi is the weakest film out of the original trilogy. A lot of that might be due to the cuddly teddy bears that defeat the Empire. I get it. Primitive societies defeating the technologically advanced, the underdogs overcoming their oppressors, I get it and I love it. I think that plot point is a fantastic way to end the trilogy. But Ewoks have been a controversial subject since the movie came out in 1983. We remember loving them, but as we've gotten older, we've gotten cynical, and many of us now believe that they were simply there to slap a UPC code on and shuffle to your nearest KB Toys. Maybe. Because of their cuteness, they were relatable. They made us empathize and sympathize with their struggle. A blinking Ewok is just cute. Come on, it's cute. It makes him even more believable. I have a hard time hating this change. Of course, I prefer the original version, always will, but the CG blinking actually blends pretty seamlessly. I never once wished the Ewoks would blink, never thought they needed to blink, never even thought about it, but it's not a bad change. Sure as shit, not as bad as most of the changes. When R2-D2 gets shot by a stormtrooper on Endor, he now ejects more gears and gadgets as he's malfunctioning. Okay, I am so sick of these nonsense changes. These stupid fucking changes that change something just for the sake of changing something. These changes that are so small and meaningless, pointless and dumb. I don't understand it, and I never will. The Krayt Dragon scream that Ben Kenobi lets out to scare away the Tusken Raiders has been changed. Here's the original. And here is the Blu-ray version. The scream has been changed with each release of the film. The new one sounds very goofy. Like most of the changes, it doesn't seem to fit. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Yet another unnecessary change. The old scream worked just fine. It did its job. I briefly showed this change in the first video I ever made. This scene was always one of my favorites. Han Solo bravely chases a group of stormtroopers down the hallway. Not only is it fun action, but it's also funny. Solo sprinting down the hallway towards a group of frightened stormtroopers, and then when he gets to the end of the hallway, the stormtroopers are there waiting for him. It's one of the most fun scenes in all of Star Wars. So you have an iconic scene that everyone knows and loves for decades, and then you change it. Why? Nobody knows. Nobody can figure this shit out. But the change to this particular scene just cheeses it up. I mean, it was already a fun and somewhat cheesy scene meant to put a smirk on your face because Han Solo is a badass. Now it's just unnecessarily over the top. Just because you can change something doesn't mean you should. If you've seen the unaltered theatrical release of the original trilogy, think about these questions. Do any of the changes add anything to the movie's plot? Were any of these changes necessary to further the film's story? Without any of these changes, is the audience lost? Does the audience not know what's going on? Is the audience missing anything? It is this stormtrooper's humble opinion that no, none of these changes were necessary. None of these changes add anything positive to the feel of the film. If anything, they detract, they negatively impact the trilogy. But I'm still hopeful that one day we will have the unaltered theatrical release of the original Star Wars trilogy on Blu-ray. Now that the franchise has switched hands, maybe the wishes of the fans will be answered. I want to give a huge thank you to all my channel supporters. Level 1 Grand Admiral supporters, Nick Scarvan, Driston Young, Spencer Robertson, and Greg Black. Level 2 supporters Max Foster, Christopher Carlton, Cable Brandon, Sven Ulrich, and Cornell Pinkman. And Level 3 supporter Andrew Reeves. Your support helps keep the channel's lights on, helps pay for better tech, new effects, audio equipment, and little things that come up with running a website and a channel. I can't tell you how thankful I am. I'll be setting up a patron hangout soon so we can all get together and talk. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like the Hello Greedo Facebook page, follow me on both Twitter and Instagram, and join the Hello Greedo forum at hellogreedo.com. Hello Greedo, out.